I don't know why the Beastmen don't have the Feral Manticore. It is honestly a travesty, considering that the Dark Elves, Norska, Warriors of Chaos, all have access to the Feral Manticore, and yet for some reason the Beast faction, which seem most obvious to have, does not have access to the Feral Manticore. So please, for multiplayer, can we have? And last but certainly not least, we've got Malagor the Dark Omen. And I think this change is relatively unlikely, but out of any of the changes here, this is the one that I would love the most. And what am I referring to? Of course, flying. Malagor should be able to fly, just straight up. They did it! The mad lads and lasses at CA actually did it! Malagor flying! And not only that, but he's accompanied by 2 Feral Manticores that I didn't even have to summon. Finally, it's a new day for the Beastmen. We're here with the first video of the rework. Today I'm going to be showing off some of the free LC content for the Beastmen in battle. I mean, I say free LC content. This is something that I had specifically asked for, as you saw in that intro. And I'm very, very happy about it. Not only that, but Malagor's also had a rework in his spell loadout. He now carries a mix of shadows, beasts, and wild. So today, in this battle, I will show you everything after the fact, of course. But here I've got Enfeebling Foe and Savage Dominion for some Cygor summons, flyby Cygor summons, and a little bit of character debuff. Of course, the 2 Feral Manticores. You can see very fancy new banners here. We've got Minotaurs with shields, front line of Ungor herds, some Ungor raiders, plenty of hounds, and a couple of Razor Gore chariots. Chariots have also been somewhat reworked for the Beastmen, and also the Orc Boar chariots. They've applied a similar change too. Basically, they've increased the mass. They should perform better against infantry. Some of you guys may know the infantry kind of mass correction they did a while back. Cavalry and chariots still don't perform as they should. They haven't really addressed cavalry that I've seen so far, but the chariots, at least for these few, it does seem they're testing out some new changes. On the other side, let's get to the Dwarfs. You guys may have heard by now, I'll be doing a video about this guy tomorrow. THOREK IRONBROW is here, making a quick cameo appearance. Just to reiterate, Dwarfs now have a runic magic system. Won't go too deep into it here, but just to kind of give you an indication, up on his Anvil of Doom, he's got a few things. First is this map-wide ability. This is not a quote-unquote rune spell, just an ability, 24 map-wide melee attack and fear. He's got an explosion as well, a nice little buff of speed and melee attack, and a debuff of speed and charge bonus. Of course, also very tanky as well. You'll notice he has magic damage and armor piercing, so definitely more formidable than a regular Rune Lord. A flame cannon, 2 Master Engineers, who have also had some significant reworks as well. A couple of Thunderers, a couple of Slayers, a whole bunch of Miners, and Dwarf Warriors. And of course, a Gyro Bomber. I'm up against Samurai Warrior here, Italian content creator for the Legio Italica channel. Yeah, if you guys speak Italian or you want to watch Warhammer and other games in Italian, definitely go check it out. I did ask him specifically, hey, bring at least 1 gyro unit, because I wanted to see if I could kill it with Malagor, and he brought a bomber specifically, which is going to be probably the best case scenario for me. So thanks for that. But you can see I'm kind of just hanging back. I'm actually going to completely forget about my Ungor Raiders, so just pretend they don't exist. And instead, let's watch this combat get underway here. Yeah, the Chariots coming through and the Minotaurs. The shields are very important. Some people sometimes question why I say Minotaurs with shields are the best variant of Minotaurs. Well, here's why it matters. You can see they did take some damage from that volley, but that volley probably would have broken them if they didn't have shields, blocking some of that fire. Here comes Malagor. We're going to come by for a quick drive-by Cygor summon right in the middle of this blob. You'll notice he takes miscast damage. That is due to another ability of THOREK. Again, we'll get to that tomorrow. Basically, if you just cast a spell when you're near him, you're guaranteed to miscast, and there's a little rune popping off there, but Malagor chasing this Gyro Bomber through the air while the Manticores now drop down into combat. There's plenty of Slayers here on the ground, so it's relatively dangerous for them. And the Cygor summon also contributing another big single entity here. This is going to be a pretty bad day for the Engineers, but let's see how it goes. Dwarf and Infantry are holding up okay. They managed to rout the Minotaurs But the chariots are still on the loose and definitely a problem. We'll kind of get in some close-ups so you guys can see how they're actually functioning against this Dawi mass here. And they are actually able to somewhat pull through. I need to do some specific testing on the live patch versus this to see what the difference is, but at least from feeling, purely based on feeling, it does seem like the chariots are more effective, certainly. And the Razorgore chariots especially are going to be pretty good against the Dwarfs, I think. Finally, I managed to catch a Gyro Bomber. There's the Rune of Doom, map-wide melee attack. Probably a little late on that, but at the same time, still going to be good for helping take down these monsters here in the center, which is not great for me. Obviously, if I lose the two Manticores, it's a problem. I'm not going to have stopping power to take down the Dwarven single entities, even if my chariots can clear out all this infantry. But hey, guess what? Got another Cygor summon on station, so we're going to pull that up with Malagor, and again, just keep pursuing that Gyro Bomber. And we'll get in close. You guys can enjoy some of his animations here as he chases. Keep that fight in the background there. Oh yeah, just absolute glory. Looking ahead, full-on Superman pose. Super Beast, if you will. Slapping that gyro around. The gyro's going to break. So that'll be good for me. Getting rid of a relatively high-value target there. And yeah, just overall feeling pretty solid. The Hounds have been pretty key as well, chasing routing units. No poison on them. I didn't feel that I needed poison against Dawi. Poison also has seen a slight nerf. Basically, it went from 20% to 15%, which won't really matter too much in this battle. We'll talk again more about that in another video. But engineers are staying alive, using that Fire Ring of THOREK to try and punch back. At this point, though, a lot of my units have come back from route, and I am actually just about to notice that I've completely forgotten my Ungor Raiders for the entire battle. Hounds get a nice isolation here on the two engineers, so the Manticore can now drop down. The Slayers are going to come in again. I think I got Rune of, oh no, Flash Bomb, which is also on the Master Engineer now, slowing everything down, debuffing melee defense as well, so this Manticore might drop here. We'll see. I do feel the balance power is somewhat falsely inflated from the Cygor and from Malagor as well, but let's see if we can use that big timing push to finish off some of these Dwarven characters. Dawi, Slayers, and infantry and everything fighting to the bitter end here. The Chariots and the Hounds are just a lot to deal with at this point. You can see all the non-Slayer units pretty much being broken and chased off by Hounds. Manticore is gone, but it's coming back, as is the... Oh, nope, just kidding. That one shatters. This one might shatter as well from the shots from the Engineer there. Yep, looks like it does go down below leadership once more. And nope, okay, it says it's routed, but it's actually not. A little bit of a bug. There it goes. Shatters. So now it's just Malagor and the Chariots, and of course I've got all these Ungor Raiders left. Handful of Minotaurs. I mean, I say handful. There's literally 2 Minotaurs there. They're just going to rush in with the Hounds. The Chariots, of course, good charge bonus, good armor piercing. They can kind of block in here, and the Crowfather comes to ground. The fight in the old style, how he used to. Just a regular dude, bro, of infantry. It should be noted, he does count as infantry, making him now a unique lord in the game, the only flying infantry type character in the entire game, which is just amazing. Absolutely beautiful. Another Fire Ring of THOREK there, unfortunately, does not swing the battle, as the dwarf character Shatter there ends up being pretty close. Malagor, as I said, does falsely inflate the bounds of power. You'll see that pretty heavily in another game I played against Turin later on down the line. A little bit of foreshadowing, but anyway, for this battle, definitely a lot of fun. Credit to Samurai Warrior here, being a true hero, you know, bringing the Flame Cannon and the Gyro Bomber, which are not necessarily optimal picks against the Beastmen by any means. I mean, Flame Cannon, you might think on paper, like, the leadership damage is pretty good, and you might be right about that as well. But still not that much value. Good kill totals, but mostly just going after Ungors. One of the Thunders got really good value. The other one got shut down pretty quickly. Slayers, of course, great against the Beastmen. I would actually recommend going very heavy on Slayers for regular type battles, but obviously this is early access. We're just trying stuff out. Shouldn't take any of these builds too seriously. The miners with charges, though, do perform very well, and Dwarf Warrior is actually very cost-effective here as well. The Engineers don't quite pay for themselves. THOREK does okay. He's relatively expensive, though, for the hit. He's kind of like a Caster Lord. Well, he is a Caster Lord, literally, now. So, anyway, Malagor, I mean, 1,500 damage value, mostly just from chasing around the Gyro and then coming in from the finish. Of course, the 2 Cygor summons as well that we don't see there. Ungors kind of do their thing, getting wrecked. Raiders are... Just forget they're there. I did. Razorgore Chariots, very good, I have to say. They feel much better than Chariots do in the live patch. Still need some more testing. Armor-piercing Chariots were already kind of the best option if you did want to take chariots at all, and against the dwarfs, sometimes you did. Like the lion chariots were pretty decent there, but it definitely seems like these Razorgore chariots can be very solid in the right situation. Hounds also excellent value chasing routing units. The Manticores, I mean, they come pretty close to paying for themselves. It's mostly just about getting key terror routes, right? Which against the dwarfs isn't super important. I actually think THOREK may, I didn't check if he had the ability, he may have had an immune to psychology AoE, in which case, yeah, Manticores are completely useless for the terror, but hey, it still did some pretty decent damage. Minotaurs, not quite so much, but they're here more just for fun. Yeah, let's talk a little bit more about the spell loadout and such for Malagor, the Dark Omen. So, Flying Lord, you can accompany him with Manticores. Yeah, you've got the same abilities as before. Something Wicked This Way Comes is -4 leadership. You've also got this item here, gives +12 leadership to allies. And on spells, you've got, of course, Flock of Doom. He is the Crow Father, so you gotta have Flock of Doom. Savage Dominion, as you saw there. Mantle of Grok has been buffed. It's -30 armor, but it's 50% base and armor-piercing weapon damage and 40 melee attack. I don't remember exactly what it was before, but I want to say that's a weapon strength increase. Penumbral Pendulum, Enfeebling Foe, and Doom and Darkness. Particularly, I didn't showcase Doom and Darkness there, but there is some really nice synergy potential with Something Wicked This Way Comes. You can get -20 Leadership Bomb in an AoE, which seems pretty good, honestly. Some pretty good potential there. I mean, granted, you do have to take Malagor, and with everything, obviously, he's quite expensive. Realistically, you would want to cut this down. Like, if you're going for a Leadership Bomb build, maybe you take Doom and Darkness. Enfeebling Foe is just so good in general. And maybe also throw Penumbral Pendulum in there for some shock damage to try and route some infantry units if you need to. Or alternately Flock of Doom just for a little bit cheaper. He does also pick up Wild Heart, which is nice. It'll give him a significant amount more Winds of Magic over the course of a battle, especially when you kind of time it with Arcane Conduit. And of course, he also has this improved power recharge rate from Unholy Power, which is okay. It's not too expensive to take if you have him pretty kitted out, so in less than 50 points, that's definitely a solid bring. But you can see he does get relatively expensive. I mean, you can certainly cut him down, like what I had there. I don't think I took this leadership debuff. I don't remember. I think I did take the Icons of Vilification, but honestly, for what he was doing there, pursuing that gyro, I could have cut that. And so you can make him cheaper if you need to. Kind of have some options with him in that way. Definitely very solid. Some people aren't going to like the switch to the mixed lores, but of course you've now got the Great Shaman for Total War Access. You do have to get him from Total War Access, but of course you've got a Great Shaman Lore of Wild who has the full Lore of Wild in the Lord level caster, so it's not like you're completely losing out on this. We'll talk more about the Great Shamans again in another video. But yeah, Feral Manticores, they're here. Look at that. About time. Oh man, it's only taken how long for them to get added to the Beastmen's roster, which is just amazing to me. But here we are, thank the gods. For other changes, kind of briefly, Mordor didn't get any changes in multiplayer. He's already very strong. Khazrak, yeah, I won't say anything right now, but no. There's nothing apparently in me that seems like it was a big change. I don't know. The Beast Lord, same thing. He seems more or less the same as he was before. Fantastic support abilities. So yeah, that's basically it for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Hopefully you learned something. If you like the sort of content you want more early access, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, so when I upload new videos, you'll be notified. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.